After a hard day of wine tasting, the locals, they're heading to TORC.
My restaurant baby is what I would like to refer to it as. Contemporary American restaurant located in Napa. The meaning of contemporary meaning we're not really pigeonholed to one cuisine. We can kind of take products and cook them how they're best prepared. Everything rooted in a really great French or Italian technique with those ingredients brought into the mix. You know, I grew up in the industry. I started washing dishes at 9. My father was a hotelier, GM at a hotel, and put me on a milk crate and had me clean silverware for about 5 hours.
And that was it.
That was it.
Fast forward 20 years and here you are.
Yeah, fast forward 35 years, you know? Crazy. And just decided that I really wanted to open a restaurant here in Napa. It is the quintessential American wine country in my opinion, and just the quality of produce is unsurpassed. There's so many other things that I wouldn't want to do that I could do that would probably be easier. But for me, this is really my life's goal, was to always have my own place and be able to choose the direction it goes and what we're gonna do and what the ambiance is like.
Almost a fine dining technique with kind of the casual atmosphere that makes it fun.
And meaning like a lot of fine dining restaurants, you go in there, it's very quiet, and we try and take that pretentiousness out of it. If you walk in here, the music's loud, the dining room's loud, you know, people are talking and having a good time. And we put a product in front of you that you would hope to get at one of those restaurants. There's two things that I don't like to label this restaurant, and that's like farm to table, farm to fork, market driven, but we're market driven. You know, we go to the farmer's market at least once a week. We have farmers that drive up to our door with produce. We have some other purveyors that either raise ducks or game birds, or we have a local fisherman from about 40 miles away over in Sonoma who'll pull up to the back door 2 or 3 days a week with live king salmon right now.
Wow.
We cook based off of what's coming in the door here. A lot of times the dialogue we have with the cooks and the sous chefs is, what are we gonna do with that? And I look at them and I say, I have no idea yet.
Let's figure it out.
But we bought it and it's pretty cool, and let's not waste it.
Well, I'd love to go get to cooking. You want to show us some stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's do
it. Cool.
All right, Chef, this is the Napa Valley. I'm expecting big things. So what are we doing today?
And we're gonna kind of do a play on a Middle Eastern style tomato salad with bread and labna.
You're speaking to a Lebanese guy, so that's right up my alley.
Whatever varieties we could really get.
And then you just use whatever you can get, whatever's fresh, whatever they're bringing.
Whatever's good, yeah. Totally
absolutely.
seasonal. It's the best way for us to be. So we're just looking to cut the tomato thick slices because we're gonna marinate it with a little bit of sherry vinegar and olive oil.
Okay, good.
And then salt, really important.
Probably pulls some of those moistures right out and kind of tenderizes them.
Yeah. Then we're gonna take some good local fennel, and I like the contrast it gives the sweetness to the tomatoes, Greek yogurt, and then just some fresh lemon zest. This is some fresh garlic.
Okay.
I think to stay traditional to where this dish would be from, you need that bite. Then just a little juice, pinch of salt.
Okay.
Touch of pepper, and then we're just gonna mix that up with a spoon. You know, we always have like leftover bread, so we'll tear some bread, and then we're actually gonna saute it real quickly just to get some crisp on it and flavor. I'm gonna take a garlic clove. Always leave the skin on garlic, so that way if we do get a little color on it, we're not making it bitter.
Oh, interesting. I like that trick.
And it's a good way to judge when your oil is hot too.
Ooh, it's hot. I don't know how you chefs do it back here all day.
Somebody has to. And we're just flipping this to make sure it doesn't take too much color.
Yeah.
And if you see where it's starting to look a touch dry, you just add a little more oil to it. And then we're just gonna put this on a paper towel to make sure it's not greasy.
Now you said this dish kind of has a Middle Eastern roots to it.
I think Mediterranean, Palestine, Israel, Morocco, Italy, the area, you know, the food is very similar. And then we're just gonna put a couple dollops of the labna on the plate. It's nice and thick. You know, it's something where you can drag the tomato through it, and then the bread, just sporadically on the plate. And then a couple other ingredients that we're gonna add to this fennel pollen from here in Napa. This is coarse sea salt, because everything needs salt. Okay. And this is pimenta espelette. So this is from the Basque region of both Spain and France, and it's a dried red chili pepper. It's more smoky than spicy. This is anise hyssop. So we have the fennel, which is anise, we have the fennel pollen, and then we're just gonna Tear some fresh anise hyssop, flowers and all.
Wow,
And
look at that.
it's got a really neat, light, licoricey flavor. Lemon zest.
Wow. I mean, you get the purple, the yellow, the red, the green. It's gorgeous.
Thank you. That's it.
That's it. I even hate to bother it. It just, you know, you can look at it all day. Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? That spice is great.
You know, and all these different colored tomatoes too, they all have variance in flavor. You know, some are higher in acid, some are sweeter.
This red one here, a lot less firm than say this one, which is cool because you get that play on textures. The thing I can't get over here is that little bit, how that little bit of spice does so much for the dish.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thank you.
We paired this with the Sauvignon Blanc for a few reasons. The acidity in the tomatoes really needs a nice high acid wine to match it. And the floral notes of the wine go really well with the floral and licorice flavors of the anise hyssop. Plus, the acidity in the wine cuts right through the fat that you find in the yogurt. Looks like we're busting out the big guns.
Big guns. Steak.
Woo! I love
Steak,
it.
you know, we're in cab country. Prime, dry-aged New York strip.
Look how thick that cut.
Yeah,
we're this thick.
It's about 20 ounces. It's good for 2 people. A good amount of salt on the outside. Pepper, too.
Give me your 3 essential steak mistakes.
Number 1 is they let their father cook it, which means it's either blood raw or well done. So you avoid that. That's number 1. Definitely a very, very hot pan. The third thing that's the most important thing is that it actually rests. And at this point, we're gonna add something that's integral to the flavor of everything. And that is butter. It's gonna impart a nice nutty flavor on it, but it's all gonna come out. It's not something that we're gonna keep in and we're gonna pour on the plate.
Looks like a bath, and you get that nice froth going.
Yeah, definitely. We have a nice crust on both sides of the meat.
Perfect.
I'm gonna take it out, put it on the cookie sheet.
I like that too, the rack too.
Yeah, so that way there's air circulation under it. So we're at 500 degrees here. And after we've got that sear on the outside, we're gonna let it cook for about 10 minutes. I'm just gonna discard that fat, but leave a little bit of it inside, a touch more olive oil. So we're actually gonna cook the potatoes inside with some of the beef renderings.
Oh wow, so you kind of season that pan.
And these are magic Murners. So these are hand dug by a friend of mine over in Sonoma County.
Hand dug potatoes.
Hand dug. So
they're almost yellow.
Yeah,
they're like peach colored.
Yeah, they're crazy. And the texture is like light and fluffy and creamy. Once again, garlic with the skin on. We're gonna take some of our potatoes, put them in with a hot pan, lots of butter. And we're gonna get that nice and frothy. A little bit of salt. We're actually gonna put this in the same oven with the steak. They'll actually cook in the 10 minutes that it actually takes to cook that steak. So next we're gonna do some nice summer vegetables. Some beautiful little squash, and they have the flowers on them. Some fresh scallions.
Right.
And we're just gonna cut some little like 1-inch batons. So once again, olive oil, the garlic and the skin. And we're gonna start with the squash. So at this point I am gonna add the onion, a touch of water.
Okay.
And just enough where it's gonna cause it to lightly steam. So, you know, when I look at flavor profile of the cabs from Napa, big in fruit, big on the palate, herbaceous.
Yeah,
and so we're gonna
absolutely.
find things that assist in that and bringing that out. You know, I get a lot of mint. And so we're gonna actually use some mint in the dish. This is what's referred to as a chocolate mint.
It's kind of like mint chocolate ice cream if you could put it in a plant.
Yeah. We're gonna put it in a steak. You take a little knife, you take a fork, and you just wanna give it a poke. So that's ideal, that's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Some more summer vegetables to those. So what we're gonna add are padron peppers. So it's a Spanish variety. They're more that like bell pepper flavor that you do get from cab. And we're just gonna get them a little blistered in that frothy butter. Add some cherry tomatoes to that. Take the onions, and we're gonna make some nice fine slices. And then we'll take our nice scallions here, and we're just gonna finish our potatoes, the chocolate mint. This is how you make sure the steak is rested properly. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the vegetables, and we're just gonna put them on one side of this platter. All right, let's see how the steak is.
Oh, look at that. The ring on the outside just to sear it in.
Yep.
And then just pink all the way through.
Nice finishing salt like we put on the tomato salad. Fresh cracked black pepper on top. Blast some of the chocolate mint, raw, And back to that kind of Mediterranean California connection, some beautiful Tajiasca olives.
I mean, are you kidding me?
And then last, we're gonna do a little bit of horseradish.
Oh, look at that, fresh horseradish.
Yeah.
You know what I love about this too is that your handprint is all over it.
Where are you gonna start?
I mean, I don't know. I probably got to start with the meat. Is that okay?
Yeah, it's totally acceptable.
All right. Oh my God. So the first thing that hits me is that cut of beef, the dry aged beef.
Yeah.
And that little bit of funk. And then the second thing I get is that beautiful, that olive. It just gives it that little bit of briny kind of salt, which I love. Oh my gosh, and it melts in your mouth. I normally just explain what the wine does with it. You did my job for me. You took it a step further and said, we have these comparing flavors. We can get these menthol and these mint flavors from the chocolate mints. We can balance some of that freshness from the like berry and the fruit flavors with the freshness of some of these herbs and some of these spices. So I love that you've taken it a step further. In addition to all the comparing flavors, the big bold dish needs a big bold wine. And the tannin structure in the wine goes great with the fat and the steak. Unreal.
Thank you.
Start to finish, unreal. Cheers to that.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having me. Really.
We ended our day at the Oxbow Public Market, Napa's blend of restaurants, stores, and shops that carry, well, a little bit of everything. Meats and cheeses, wood-fire pizza, sushi, oysters, craft beer, specialty bitters, and of course, wine. I hope you enjoyed the one and only Napa Valley. We'll see you next time on V is for Vino. Get the wine, full episodes, and more at visforvino.com.